Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday meditation gathering. I'm so glad you're all here to share this time together. Meditation gathers energy when we meditate together. And this week we have Ruth White, who's going to lead us in meditation, and then we'll have 20 minutes of silence. After that, we're going to open it up for sharing, and we end at 10:45. Over to you, Ruth.
Hello, everybody. It's this Christmas time. What a wonderful time it is for giving. And there are a few natural laws. And one of them is if you give to the universe, you get it back. It's given back. It may not be in quite the same way as you give it, but it will come back. Another example of natural law would be if you wanted to tell lies all day, you couldn't, you'd slip up and tell the truth. But if you wanted to tell the truth all day, that would be fine. So, who wouldn't give if you knew that you were just giving to yourselves? Everything you give away is to yourself. And there's such a joy, isn't there? You can feel that it's a benefit for the person opening the present, especially with the children, and yourself too. The pleasure of seeing them unwrapping and the delight is shared. I think a lot of people, well, like myself, find it difficult to accept always. But I learned to when I was for a while in a wheelchair, and I received so much help going to the front of the queue and helping me unload things in the supermarkets. And I saw that it actually gave people great pleasure to help me. So that helped me to receive. Christmas is a holy time, and for us, a whole day is in the hands of the Holy Spirit, to be dropping the ego, thoughts of making other people happy. And it's another natural law that if you stop thinking about yourself and what you'd like next, and think about those around you, which is easy at Christmas time, if you're the lady of the house, looking after everybody, preparing meals, seeing when people get up or go to bed, hopefully, not always obey your command, but if we come under that natural measure, meta, mother, means measure in Sanskrit, and we know quite naturally when people should eat or when it's time to quieten down. So nobody would notice if you just disappeared for a while and sat quietly, because it can get extremely busy, and we need that space in the mind that's created by our meditation. Well, it's always there, but it gets overlaid, doesn't it, with such activity. So it's a very powerful thing to gather in a group like this and to come into each other's presence and share that stillness. But it verifies the fact that we are all one. All one. Just talking to you now, it feels as if I'm just talking to one person. it's perhaps one of the last sheaths to drop, the identity with the body, especially for yogis. But it's really our most precious ally, because the body is always present. It has no will of its own. It can only be instructed by the mind. And we've got two halves to the body, so we can work to balance and come into the center. What tends to happen is we go forwards into the future. Well, we think it's the future. And so by using the body as bringing the body into balance, brings you back to the here and now. It also, for me personally, brings me back. It's not, I suppose if you get really old, then you'll be in the past more. But when you're just standing anywhere, or just sitting now, just to bring yourselves into balance really means bringing yourself into the center, into the here and now, where mind and body are both synchronized together. You know, just fetching something from across the room, your mind's there before your body, isn't it? So we could all do with drawing in, drawing back. And that actually expands the consciousness. Being in the here and now. So we have all sorts of ways using the body as a tool for bringing us back into steadiness, balance, quiet. And in that way, expanding our horizons. It's only when we're quiet that we can actually hear the Holy Spirit. It's like the quiet after the storm. You said how nice it was to be here and now, and most people have stopped working now. Well, I don't know whether we have, but I mean getting ready for Christmas, decorations, parcels and things. And that's very much preparing for the future. But what a blissful thing it is when you have wrapped them all up and you can just sit back, you know what your Christmas meal is going to be, and you've done the preparation. So let's just come back into our bodies right now. If you could think of the spine as a string of beads, and just feel that you're lifted up by the very crown of the head, and they all fall into place. It's as simple as that. Adjust yourselves on the seat. A flat seat is best, but if you're on a cushion, that's fine too. Just bring yourself into the center and see if you can feel those little sit bones. It's actually the bottom of the pelvic girdle, two little promontories, and balance the weight equally between them. That's it. And your feet on the floor, but it's because you may be a cross-legged person, but just have them flat on the floor for the moment in the shoes, and just feel the weight on your feet. It's going to pinpoint. The arms should be passive, and see if you can turn the palms of the hands upwards. Good. Now this front body measurement, as long as possible, it tends to shorten during the day. That if you can roll your collarbones up, literally roll them up towards your ears. This shouldn't be a strain because you're sitting on the front of your sit bones. So the top of the hips here roll forwards. Yeah, that's it. Good. So with the palms up, the back of the upper arms heavy, the shoulder blades slipping down the back, heavy shoulder blades. No expression on your face. You can just let your face feel soft and wide. Good. Exhale first. Now take an enormous inhalation right up to the top. Ribs under the collarbones here, right up to the top. Open and widen. Lift and widen. And as you exhale, control it. Slowly, slowly exhale. Again, as you inhale, feel even the side ribs moving out towards the side walls, right up to the armpits and up to the very top. And as you exhale, no collapsing, keep the height. You're looking in and hearing the sound of your breath as you inhale up to the very top in your own time now. There's a moment's pause at the top of the breath. And the exhalation. The natural pause at the end, just like the twilight of the day. But one more deep breath like that. Just keep the chin down, crown of the head, lifting, lifting. Lovely. And we'll go into meditation now. Suspended in that stillness, supported. Thoughts may come in, just let them go. It's all you have to do is release. Very easy, nothing forced, smooth.
Open your eyes slowly and come back into the room. We have about 15 minutes left for sharing your reflections and your questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand or use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen, and I'll invite you to take yourself off of mute. And if you'd like to ask Ruth a question or a comment with confidentiality, put your message in the chat function at the bottom of the screen, and I'll read it out. Are you?
Thank you. Good morning, Ruth. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to share this experience that I had. I do not have usually image comes up to me while I have meditations. But this occasions, I just saw, it could be imagination, just an image or an idea. Every time when I breathe, a sort of pause between inhale, exhale, so the pause moment in the bottom and down. I saw that a door opened. I just realized every time when I breathe in and out, a door's opened. And this door is a new door. So I thought, well, if the door, every time when I breathe in, a new door open, it must be new me. It must be every time the doors open, it must be the truth. It must be a new me, because the previous breathe gone, finish. So in that case, I thought there's got to be new me means I interpret it like innocent, no past, no future. I thought it must be the truth. Every time when I breathe, new me, a new outside. That's what I experienced. That was a little recognition. I just wanted to share with you. Thank you.
What a lovely share. Thank you. It's wonderful to exhale the old out, because there is no old you. Yes.
Who'd like to share? Terry, take yourself off of mute.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Ruth. Ruth, I'm curious. Parasakti. Would you care to kind of elaborate on that? I'm at to make the presumption that you teach yoga, given that you've got a load of mats stashed behind you in the corner, and you've got a Sanskrit name there. And how would you correlate your practice of yoga with A Course in Miracles and the sense that I am not a body, I am free? How would you kind of talk about that, please?
That's an excellent question. You know, when I'm meditating with you, they're one and the same. My yoga, when I'm into my practice, and meditating. Heaven, they're just one and the same, heaven. So there's no separation there. And as I mentioned, the body is the last sheath to drop, and especially for yogis, because it's such a good friend. But in a funny way, you get to realize that you are definitely not the body. And that the body is completely lifeless without the mind. It's not there anyway, is it? The name Parashakti was given to me by some monks. I was meditating away, living in London, and some friends of ours who we would get together with to meditate every week, she had psoriasis very badly on her arm. And since she had been a child, she's a very beautiful lady, and this psoriasis disappeared. And I said, how did that happen? What are you doing? And for a few weeks, this couple wouldn't tell us what they were doing, but they were meditating with these Ashar monks. Just the same meditation as we have, but they had different mantras. And because of the good company with the monks, John and I, well, it's a long story really, but we initiated, and the Maharishi gave us names. It was usually a name which you could work towards. You know, it was your block towards truth, to uncover the truth for you. It was a helpful name. These Ashar monks were tremendously good company because they worked on love, praise, and gratitude. They were their three directions. And they traveled all around giving talks, and people would invite them for weekends. We happen to live, and it's a funny situation really, in a very large 12th century old farmhouse in Shipton under Wychwood here in Gloucestershire. And they had moved, as they do, move around a lot. There were 10 of them in a very, very small house in Witney, Gloucestershire. And so they suddenly turned up, all in white robes, they wear white robes, to the village yoga class I was given. And the villagers thought, whoa, you know, what's this going on? But they came back for supper. There were 10 of them actually, 10 of them all living in this rather small house. And it came about that they should come and live in our big house, which had been my desire years and years ago, to live in the country, in a house, sharing it with these Ashar monks. But so it came about. And they were excellent company because you could talk to them and not feel any criticism at all. They just accepted what was. So you could say anything you want. You weren't inhibited. It was a bit strange at first because you'd say something you thought was a funny story, relating it, and there'd be no reaction. So you think, oh, well, that wasn't very funny, was it? But you got sort of used to their non-reacting. But they did give you full attention, which, by the way, is the best Christmas present you can give anybody, your attention. But yes, so we thought, well, why waste time? Let's go and meet their Maharishi. He lived in Mexico at the time. So we went, and quite Spartan, really. For a month, we lived in this hacienda, and there was lots of meditation, one meal a day. They didn't get up early. That was a disappointment to me. They stayed up rather late, and I kept dropping asleep, and it wasn't too good. In fact, one evening meditation, I snored, and I was right in front of the Maharishi, and he jumped. He said, "Ruth, you made me jump." I was still called Ruth at that time. I said, "Oh dear, I made myself jump. I'm so sorry." But yes, we all find our own measure, don't we, about sleep. So anyway, I'm very pleased to be still with them, and I can't really see any difference with the Course of Miracles. The Maharishi, I said, "Is it all right if I do A Course of Miracles while I'm here, staying here for a month?" And he said, "It's my favorite book." And I recognize so much that his teaching was Course of Miracles. Yes. So hence the name. Thank you for the question.
Okay, who'd like to share? Raise your hand. I'd just like to say, Ruth, that this morning I stepped back and I asked Holy Spirit, what would you have me know today? And what came through was be present, be in your right mind. Just slow down and do one thing mindfully. And your day is so busy. You're doing 2 or 3 things at once, and it's the same. And it's the same as your mind. Your mind is busy, 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 and so just slow down and do one thing mindfully. So that's what I've been doing,
Yes.
and I'm going to carry that with me forever. I think it's perfect for me, and it relates to your talk today. I'm done.
Yes. Thank you, Dan. It's always the answer, isn't it? Come back to the stillness, the silence. If anybody's giving their personal problems to you and you're listening, it's the best advice you can give is just come back to the silence. You know the silence, just return to that. That silence in the present, yes. Wonderful. Oh, I'm glad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who'd like to share? Linda, take yourself off of mute.
You were talking about giving, Ruth,
Yes.
and like I say, I've been up since 6 o'clock waiting for the bin men to give them their Christmas present. And I sat in front of the windows. I pulled the curtains back. It was dark,
Yeah.
and I just sat quietly and came to silence and gave myself to God. That's what came to me. Just give yourself to God.
Lovely.
And I love giving, and I've written lots of Christmas cards, knowing that there's lots of people not even writing cards these days.
No.
But I just love writing cards and I write things in them, always write some stuff in them. But I just love the giving. And this is what you've been talking about today. But this morning, yes, I had plenty of time from 6 o'clock to just sit and wait for the bin men, which they haven't come yet, and just give myself to God. So, yes, it was quite relevant what you've been saying today. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad, darling. Yes. Yes. And will the bin men like what you're giving them? Yes. Because often you don't, unless you're giving them bottles of beer, which would happen in Australia, and they wouldn't really take your cardboard rubbish after Christmas unless they had some little thing that you gave them and you had to run out in your dressing gown or whatever it was.
I did. For the green waste, I had to run up the road in my dressing gown last week.
Yes.
Yes, I give them to all the bin men.
Very good.
They're those boxes of chocolates, those round things.
Oh yes, I know.
I
Bombs.
wrap them up and put a note on, saying, what would we do without you? What would we do?
Yes, quite right.
So, yeah, really appreciate the bin men. Yes.
Yes. Sometimes when children give back to the parents, there's such an absolute pleasure in your child feeding you something. But I remember giving to a rather ancient aunt. I must have only been 3 or 4, but I made a green Play-Doh cake and I gave it to her and she ate it. I was amazed. It's good to receive it with great gratitude, isn't it? Perhaps the best thing you can teach a child is to give away.
Yes, my parents used to give. Well, in those days, you had the dustman, the coalman, the milkman, the postman. And Mum used to give all of them a Christmas box.
Yes.
Yes. So they're little things that parents do that they don't tell you. You just pick up from your parents what they've shown you. They give you those things to give on.
Yes. Yes.
Who'd like to share? Annie, take yourself off mute.
Thank you, Ruth. I just was really curious. Did your aunt survive the Play-Doh?
Scream. I do remember that.
Oh, it's such a wonderful story. Thank you so much for your lovely way of connecting into that quiet place. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's good. Thank you. Yes. Mm.
Dennis, take yourself off mute.
Thank you, Ruth. You were talking about giving, and before I came to the course, I read an interesting book called The Only Planet of Choice, and it was from the Nine, and they asked us to do an exercise, different things around the world, including trees.
Oh,
And I thought nothing about it until I went on a canal boat holiday, and I was in Ellesmere, in Cheshire. And all of a sudden there was a bunch of trees and I just felt energy coming from them. And my hands were like electricity running through them. And I just had to earth them somewhere. I earthed them on the boat.
really?
It just felt like a lot of things were coming back. And someone said to me, if you give it out, you're going to get it back. And I didn't expect anything back.
No. They say it's very sattvic under trees, and you felt it. Well,
Sorry.
it's sattvic, beautiful energy under trees. They do say that, especially the deciduous ones in the slow growers. Yes. Yeah.
Apparently, I found out these trees were the woods there have been there since the world started practically.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
Okay, take yourself off of mute and show your appreciation for Ruth. That's wonderful, Ruth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ruth.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful.